How can one born in the pit of life's struggles see past their own existence? When you have naught but a brass penny to your name, what truth can you know save hunger, or the desire to survive? Power breeds malfeasance. Your kings and queens squander lives like pawns on a chessboard. It is no wonder the darkness fills your heart so. Soon nothing will exist without the taint spreading like a wildfire. Most that can see it ignore it. They shut it in a box in the mind. But no box is closed forever. The mantle has fallen to me to right the world's wrongs. No other will combat it. No other will see it done. The pyramid of society must be rebuilt, brick by brick, stone by stone. But first, we must knock it all down. I'm sorry for what is to come, but before rebirth, there must be death.
It's not a simple thing to be a knight, especially a wandering one. People see an armored man and go running, terrified of them. I aim to change that. And now others follow me. There have been many good people done wrong along the way. Many things I wish I could have changed. Situations I wish I could have confronted differently. But I've met some good people. I've helped some better ones. I wonder if I will make a great leader. I wonder if I will lead this company to greatness, or if I will fail. If I will toss those dreams into the mud. But I can't worry about that now. There is only to live in the now, live in the moment, and do what we can to make the world a better place.
And here I am, following Ser Carthis. My how the fates moves around like palms. Was not long ago that I finally bought enough gold and goods, not only for myself to settle my personal debts, but enough to secure my family's future, to bring new wealth to our holdings, only to have it be lost at sea during a journey home. And if that wasn't bad enough, getting stranded on an island infested with merman worshippers with a young lass, the foul beast trying to use her to provide new offspring, while escaping the island proved easy enough. I had a long road ahead of me to recoup what I lost. Figured a local temple would provide some means for me to start. As it turns out, I could not have been more wrong. No wonder anyone buys into the idea of worship. It seems no different than the game of politics people play. Both are liable to get you killed. But all was not lost. New acquaintances bring new paths to follow. One of them, I hope, will be fruitful. Ser Carthis must have traveled to areas that will need help. If I know at least one thing about this journey, is that the places in need of help also provide good trade opportunities, or at the very least a distraction from watching over my shoulder after I fail to show up to pay off my debts.
Alright, welcome to, this is Chapter 3 of Season 2 of No Peace Until Death. This is the first session for Ser Carthis and the Order of the Black Knight, which was founded in Season 1. Please take a look at that season if you need to catch up. And if you are watching and this is the first time, please subscribe, hit the bell to get almost daily content from us, and we will get started without delay. It was 2 weeks since Ser Carthis and his newly found vigilantes took their leave from the Temple of the Sun and traveled north across Verdun near the border of Cidaris. For most of that time, Carthis, Grimwolf, Endry, and the others had taken refuge in the common room of a tavern in the town of Puzzluk. In that time, Ser Carthis had recruited 2 new travelers, an old warrior named Hargan and a merchant named Dagon. Between them, the Order of the Black Knight now counted 9, including Fallenstein, the apostate, Roger and John the hunters, and Enlund, the former acolyte. But now Carthis has found out how much it costs to feed a troop of 9, and the supplies and money were running low. Contracts for small bands of mercenaries were not commonplace, and even endeavors of heroics did not seem to present themselves. There was only training to fight back the boredom of the last few days. Grimwolf, Ser Carthis, and Endry sit around a table, using some of their last coins for this meal. The rest of Ser Carthis's band, now called the Order of the Black Knight, have roamed the countryside, hunting and bringing back what they can, cutting corners of costs any way that was possible. Some of your men were still in town. Others were out foraging for food, particularly the 2 hunters, John and Roger. This place was getting expensive, even in the flop house of the common room where you slept. Honest work was hard to come by in the north, and you felt that now more than ever. And I will let you guys take it away with some roleplay to begin. Who's going to start?
Carthis is seated at a table, fingers pressed against his temples, rubbing them, trying to think of how they might earn some steady coin. It's been more difficult than he might have imagined having a cohort together. And even with the money that he's tried to save up, it doesn't seem to amount to enough. He sips at his drink rather plaintively, wondering if this will be the last decent meal that he has for a while.
Endry had taken to carving and whittling over the times of their travels to keep himself and his hands occupied. In them, he holds a bit of wood. He has been designing a symbol for the Order, the Company of the Black Knight. He's made a few already. He's passed them out amongst the others. He sits here working on his 5th and leaning back in the chair. He has a very focused gaze as he whittles away, keeping himself busy.
Gimroth is leaning in his chair, picking his nails with his dagger, kind of staring intently as he does it at his dagger, looking kind of stern. He looks over at Ser Carthis. Well, not sure what you meant when we left to start this journey, but it seems kind of tight now, don't you think?
Well, I had hoped with all the unrest we might find a worthy cause to dedicate ourselves to, or several. But a string of bad luck, perhaps. Not certain. Something will come up, I'm certain. I know. I will continue to try to find a cause worthy of us and one that will keep us fed as well.
Yes. It's like a double-edged sword. We need people to do the work, and we also need the money to pay them.
I do have some coinage left if need be, but it still will not get us too far. He scratches his chin. I'll figure something out.
Endry pipes up as he finishes off the symbol that he was carving. He slides it across the table to Grimwolf before looking up to Ser Carthis, maybe I could, I don't know, offer to, I guess, repair some things for people passing by. Maybe we could make idle coin that way.
Oh? Are you a skilled blacksmith and you sought not to tell us?
Well, I've idly been, repairing stuff here and there. I'm not the best, mostly patchwork things, but probably better than most people will get.
Well, if it is something that you wish to do for idle coin, certainly. I won't tell you no. But when it comes down to it, we still do need to find something for the company to partake in. Otherwise, it's not going to be a company for very long.
Of course. He rubs the back of his head and looks around. Well, do you see anyone or hear anything, Ser Carthis? Just let him know, and you can send me to them.
Of course.
Grimwolf stopped picking at his nails, his dagger, kind of twiddling it. And maybe we could lower our bar of honor and find something less comely to make ends meet.
I don't think that would be something I'd be willing to do, Grimwolf. No matter how desperate we get, I would sooner send all these men on their way to seek their own fortunes if I'm a failure as a leader, than resort to anything less than proper.
Exactly, Grimwolf. We can't be stooping down to ban a tree or anything like that.
Oh no, not the banditry. Smuggling. Well, one could find some honor in that. There's places that can't get much. Maybe we can move stuff there. Necessities, in a way.
Smuggling, it's fairly unbecoming. And he looks to Ser Carthis a little bit for approval in his words.
Depends on the definition of smuggling. In some places, some might call it honest trade, and some people might have trade laws to prevent their rivals from getting necessary goods for people to take care of themselves. But that is rarely profitable. More, Grimwolf is thinking of taking illicit goods into places, which you are correct. It would be a bit uncouth.
Well, from my understanding, when people are starving, there is a little more profit. It's not a lot, it's marginal, but it's something. Medicines, salves.
We're not in it for profit, Grimwolf. We're in it to be just and be good.
Well, if Justin Good puts coin in our followers' hands, then that'd be good. But unfortunately, Justin Good is its own reward.
Grimwolf does speak some sense, Hendry. It's harder than it seems to meet both needs.
As you are speaking of your troubles, the tavern part of this inn is fairly busy. It's a small room, but there's men and women about. Most of them are your standard fare of peasants, but you see a woman walk in with almost shoulder-length black hair, wavy, deep blue eyes, She's wearing a brown dress that hangs to her ankles, but it appears a bit tattered. If you guys want to give me a grooming roll, that would be, I think it's under empathy. Yeah, grooming style. Yeah, Grimwolf, Endry and Ser Carthis, you just see a attractive woman walking in with a tattered dress. But Grimwolf, you're a little bit more savvy in these things, and you kind of realize that that dress is probably more than the whole company has had since you've been with it. But so she definitely comes from some sort of means. As she passes by, she goes to the bar and begins to speak with the barkeep.
Grimwolf watching her pass by. Ah, now there's a lass of some means. Do you know what I'm talking about, Ser Carthis? As he looks at the lady.
And Carthis looks her over, not immediately having ideas. Just looks like a beautiful woman in a bit of a tattered dress.
Ah, yes, it's tethered now, but I imagine it's not so tattered and dirty. You know how much that dress would be? You know that's made of.
I must confess, Grimwolf, I am no expert on the material of dresses.
Yes. Yeah, let's just say that that young lass is, well, maybe was well off. I'm not so sure now. Or maybe she just had an unfortunate incident on the way to town.
Perhaps an opportunity?
Yes. Now they're picking up what I'm putting down there. The dress is worth a lot of money. Not now, maybe, but not so long ago.
As you guys are considering this, she turns and looks over her shoulder and looks at your table. Obviously, the innkeeper said something. She gives him a nod, and you see her slide a silver piece over to the bartender as she makes her way towards you. She looks over Grimwolf and Ser Carthis, ignoring injury more or less, and says, "Which one of you are Ser Carthis?"
And Carthis looks to her and stands. And, that'd be me, my lady. And might I have the pleasure of your name as well?
"Yes, I am Lady Ophelia Rene," and she extends her hand for you to take it.
And he will bow and take it. And I am Ser Carthis Van Carden. Pleasure.
"Yes, it is good that I have found you here. I heard that there was a man and his men looking for work, perhaps an honest wage."
Very much so. Please feel free to sit with us.
"Thank you." And she waves over to the bartender, who is now closely following her, and sits a glass. Probably you don't see glassware very often, but he sits it down next to her, and you can see inside, and it's filled with wine. "Have you eaten? I would be happy to spare a few coin for a meal for all of you and the boy. Is this your son?"
No, unfortunately he's not. But he is my squire. This is Indri, and I will pat Indri's head. And this is a good friend and comrade, Grimwolf.
And Grimwolf will nod.
"Well, it is wonderful to make each of your acquaintances. I won't bother with so much small talk. She snaps her fingers, and the innkeeper nods and hustles off. He goes immediately to the back, you're assuming, to get more food. She says, I have traveled many leagues to get here. As you can see, she pokes at her dress. The road has been hard, but these last 3 years have been even harder. I will tell you a tale of why I'm here. You see, my husband is Lord Rolf Rene. We are from Central Verdun, not so far away. I was away at my parents' in Sedaris, and supposedly my husband received a guest, his cousin, and ever since, the cousin is now the lord of the castle and keeps my husband in bondage, or so I am told. The king refuses to hear our plea for justice, and so I am... She waves her hand. I am hopeless without the aid of hopefully someone that wants to see justice done and earn coin at the same time.
Well, I would say that it is a stroke of good fortune for us and you that we have this chance meeting. This sounds exactly like the kind of cause that we'd be interested in taking up, I think.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I am sorry I've been staying here and there with some acquaintances and relatives. I apologize for my appearance. It is quite uncouth.
There is likely not much that we are showing in our present state as well. I'm certain we look like much less than poor beggars at this point. But I will say, Lady Rene, you look very stunning, regardless of what you have endured on the road.
She smiles ever so slightly. Why, thank you. It has been a long while since I have had the affections of my husband, and so any that I can hear from a man of your stature, it does my heart well.
Carthis nods. Well, this cousin, what do we know? How did he come to take control of the castle, or does this information elude you?
It is all very mysterious, unfortunately. His name is Tygus, and I had not heard of him until this all befell us. My husband was not close with his extended family, but I would expect that I would have heard the name, but I never did. Our petitions, as I have said, has fallen on deaf ears of the king. Why, I could not say. Unfortunately, my family is from Sedaris, and, well, they are of ill health and have fallen out with the king there as well, and so any influence my family might have had on those in Verdun, well, that is all done.
I see. And what of your husband's bannermen? Have they not been responsive to you?
Unfortunately, no. Most of them have fled or disappeared. Some now serve Lord Tygus. When I attempted to approach the keep, I have been turned away each time, even from those I know.
Ser Carthis nods. Looks over to Andrew and Grimwolf. Do either of you have any questions for the fair lady?
And Endry, he's been fairly taken with Lady Ophelia and seems to snap out of it when Ser Carthis asks him, Oh, yes, my lady, um, you said your husband is trapped by your cousin. Is what are the colors of your house? Is there possibilities of us maybe sneaking in to be able to see what exactly is going on?
I would say it's not impossible. I know of no secret passage, if that is what you are asking, but our colors are red on a field of blue, a sunburst. So, is there a heraldry? It's interesting. There's something like it. Let's see.
You could technically put it under social etiquette, I guess,
Yeah, we could. Let's do.
or maybe education, unless that's related directly to actually educating people. I'm not sure. No, education and teaching are different. So you could do. I mean, suggestion could be education or social
Yeah,
etiquette.
go ahead. Whichever you think.
Hmm.
I don't have either, so.
Education, let's do it. Because Andrew
Yeah.
would totally know this.
Yeah, Carthis, being from Nilfgaard, has never known this. However, Endry does kind of have an idea. When he was younger, Roger Picklebranch would bring him books from the nearby fort in the Vinewood, and he remembers reading over some heraldry of Verdun, and he does recall this house, Rene. It is a minor house from central Verdun, as she said, so clearly she's telling the truth about that. They were very loyal to the king. You remember bits and pieces of their history, but nothing really pertinent to the situation at hand. If you think of the banner, it would be a sunburst on a field of blue, as she said. The sunburst being red, of course.
Andrew scratches his chin a little bit and looks to Ser Carthis. Maybe we could, I don't know, scout it out so we don't go in blind or anything like that.
Naturally, entry, but a good suggestion to verbalize nonetheless. It's always good to know what you're going to walk into before you walk into it.
Your heads all turn as there's kind of a ruckus at the door as two people walk in. One's a woman and one's a man. The man has a wrap over his head covering his eyes. They look in very sorry shape, much worse than Lady Ophelia, clearly. There's a couple people kind of hanger on around them talking, "Really? What was that you said? Oh, it's unbelievable." And they're making a big huff, and the two are like, "Yes, no, I promise it was true. I saw them with my own eyes. Devils, devils, I say." And they're coming in, and the innkeeper pops out of the back and sets a big plate down at your table. Big pheasant. The smells just waft into the air, and those two look over with greedy eyes. "Oh, what a fine feast!" And they look at each other, and you know that look very well. It's of two people who have no money to buy anything.
Yeah, Carthis isn't going to take any action on that just as of yet, because they haven't approached, but he will take note of the situation, see them. He would look to Grimwolf, and what of you, Grimwolf? I know you have a keen mind. Do you have any questions for the lady?
Well, she already stated there's going to be involved, and seems straightforward enough, but I think what Andrew said is correct. We need to look into it ourselves. No use rushing into something that may be on the wrong end, although it may make us coin. That's more than my domain, not yours.
Yes, speaking of coin, I can present a term of 500 gold when I can collect it in a day's time from those that I have been staying with, and let us say triple that when the deed is done. I'm sure my husband would pay that easily, and perhaps any more. I do not know the current state of our family's coffers, you see.
Yes, I think that is agreeable. That is more than fair. We have a deal. We should set out rather quickly once the initial portion's been collected, and then proceed from there.
Very well. And as she smiles, she takes a drink from the wine, and you hear the man,
I tell you what they looked like. It was as men were stitched together with other men, and we all fled. They killed most of us. I don't know where my family got off to, but Mira here, and we came here as soon as we could from the border. I don't know where these savages came from. They struck us down and drug us off.
and you hear a great murmur of others. Mostly, some are casting doubt, some are in shock and fear.
We should call a witcher.
Someone yells, and ain't no witchers anymore. Someone else says, they're the devil, and just arguing back and forth.
Endry taps Ser Carthis on the shoulder. We should find out what's going on.
I think I have an idea, but I may as well confirm it. Ser Carthis will cut off a bit of his pheasant on a plate and whatever other little bits, if there's any bread or anything, put it there.
Mm-hmm.
If you will excuse me a moment, my lady. He will stand and head over to the two.
They both look up at you.
Oh, hello.
Time of day is it? Morning, afternoon?
Probably afternoon sometime.
Good afternoon. Forgive me for saying so, but you look as though you have endured quite a struggle. I have had my fair share today, and he puts down the pheasant and bread in front of them.
Oh, thank you, sir.
The man says, and
Here, Mira. This is my sister, Mira, and I'm his...
Well met. I am Ser Carthis Carden.
A knight?
A hedge knight, not a proper one.
Wish we would have had a knight with us only days ago.
Forgive me for asking, but I had overheard your conversation. You said that there were devils. You come from the border. Can you describe these things in more detail for me?
Oh, I can. I saw my brother. He was swung an axe and he hit it square in the chest and it didn't even fall. Its eyes were mismatched and I could have sworn that its face was mismatched.
and the girl chimes in,
Yes. I could have sworn there were stitches in its face, like it was split in two. Nothing we did, and they wouldn't fall. Our militia, they shot arrows in it, they stabbed them with spears, and nothing stopped them.
And you said you come from the border. Of which border?
Sidaris in the north.
I see. And Carthis has a pretty good idea of where these are coming from. At least he thinks he does. And he nods. Well, I'm sorry for what has been lost, but I wish you better fortune in the days to come.
they look at each other.
You're a knight, you said.
Yes, I've been traveling with my band, and we are Knights of the Hedge, Order of the Black Knight.
Well, our family's missing, and we don't have much to pay you, but I wonder if we could maybe lead you to our home and you could maybe help us find him. Our young boy Jonah, he's 13 years old. I hope he's with our other son who's 18, but we do worry something fierce about them, sir. We can give you whatever's in our house still. It's not much, but our children, sir, and all our friends and kinfolk.
And Carthis kind of scratches his chin, and he knows he's already made an arrangement. We do have an engagement we must set out, unfortunately, within a day, but how far is your home from this place?
Oh, not far. I suppose a hard day's march. It's the town of Lincraig. Not much account, but not far from here. And you hear other people start grumbling, "Devils are coming! They're coming!"
And Carthis thinks on it, and she said she would need a day to collect her coin.
She said that, more or less, yeah.
He looks back at his table and looks at them. I can make you no promises right now, but let me speak with my company and my present employer, and if I can set aside the time for now, then I will head there as quickly as we can. But give me a moment, all right?
Of course, of course. Thank you for the food.
He nods and heads back. And Lady Rene, you said you would need about a day to collect the coinage, correct?
Oh, it would be on the way to the keep. We could collect it on the way.
I see. How far is the keep from here?
Do you have horses, sir?
A single one.
On foot it will take us a better part of 3 days.
Carthis frowns and All right. Well, we can leave as soon as you're ready. Did you wish to leave today?
Oh, I will take a spell and relax and maybe catch a nap in the room if there's one available. First light tomorrow then.
Very good. I must be honest, my lady, those people that came in have asked me to do something simple for them that may take me away a day. I don't wish to delay. I understand the need to quickly get to your keep. It would only take us a day, maybe a day and a half to go where they wish us to go and come back. If this is something that you cannot wait for, I can tell them as much, but if it is something you would allow, I would like to help them if I could.
Oh, I did overhear some of it. They said they're from Lincraig. That is a day away. A day there, a day back. That's 2 days, sir.
That it is. Again, if it is not something that you are willing to wait for, I understand completely. Simply wish to ask.
Why don't you give me either a charm or a persuasion?
I will do persuasion.
Okay. 14.
No.
It is It's completely up to you, sir. I did think we had a deal.
A deal we have. I shall meet my commitment. If I'm not a man of my word, then what am I?
Very well, I understand your need to help these people, but... well, there are many that need help.
Indeed. We shall set out whenever you are prepared, my lady.
Whenever you're ready in the morning. And she drinks the rest of her wine and enjoy the supper that I have provided you. And she nods to the rest of you and walks back over to the innkeeper, talks to him for a few minutes, gathers the key up, and takes her leave unless you have something else to say to her.
No. Carthis would, kind of rub his, temples. I must go and tell them I cannot aid them.
Wait,
Aye.
Carthis, an idea. I don't know if it's the best one, but we have, what, how many people in the company? At least, what, 5 of us, right?
Closer to 9, I would say, Andriel was included. He starts to count on his fingers. Yes, I would say 9.
Another thing I have to learn. Maybe we could send some of us off to help the poor folk there with their troubles. And I mean, there's quite a few of us, and they look like they need a lot of help.
I
Well, we don't know what we're gonna run into, and with the last hard choice. Both honorable decisions. One has coin, the other is its own merit.
will see if perhaps perhaps I could send just a man, maybe 2, and if they are quiet, just to see in case the boys are still there, then perhaps they could bring them away, but I don't think I can spare much more than that. Grimulf is right. We will need all the aid we can get.
Maybe if we do this deed and if we do it fast enough, we come back and still help your peasant friends over there.
I doubt that there will be... That's too much time. Almost 7 days before we could come back. No, I will do what I can now. Carthis stands up. This is a very important lesson, Indri, that though you may wish to aid as many as possible when... well, you cannot allow your reach to extend your grasp, as the saying goes.
I understand, Ser Carthis.
Nods and heads back over to the 2 of them.
Oh, sir, did you decide? I'm hoping that she gave you leave to help us. Just a short trip up the road. I'm sure to be nothing for her to wait for you.
She wishes to leave at first light in the morning.
But our children, sir.
I am not deaf to your pleas. Listen, he reaches around, and Carthis does have some gold put away. Does Carthis know how much it is typically to hire mercenaries or anything like that?
I mean, probably a band of small mercenaries like yours, for normal rates for a job would probably be 50 gold, maybe 100 gold. It really depends. on what the situation was. It could be more.
So, Carthis does have some gold pieces.
Yeah.
So Carthis would root through, he would pull out a bag. I need every man in my company. I do not know what she intends to bring me into, but I am not deaf to your pleas. There are other men of the sword that I'm certain are around. He goes through and he will put 50 gold on the table. If I could send my men, if things were not so tight here, I would. This is what I can offer for you to hire other good men, I hope, that can help you check on your children. I apologize, but I cannot be two places at once.
They look at you and look at the gold and look between you. Oh, that's very... that is very kind, sir, but I don't know who else I would ask. I'm a cobbler, not a warrior. I wouldn't know a man with skill from a man without. I just heard that you were being courted by that fancy lady, and so it made sense to ask you.
And he'll put 5 more gold coin on the table. Speak with the innkeeper. He's... well, a man of business has to know about who his business is holding. If there are others in town that might take up this cause, he will know them, and he should be able to direct you to them. Again, I wish I could do more, but this journey with her will take the better part of a week to go there and back, and I would not ask you to wait that long to check on the well-being of your kin. All I can do is hope there are men as good as us, perhaps even better, that will be willing to take this coin to aid you.
Well, we certainly will try, sir. I do appreciate it. Hate taking another man's gold, but tough times. One day, if I ever make such money, I will see it returned to you.
No need. There is no need to return something freely given. It is a gift, not a loan. And he pats his on the shoulder and looks to Mira. And, be safe. These times are difficult. And whatever is left of the pheasant, I apologize, my other 2 companions are very hungry. You may partake in our meal. We will likely be retiring soon.
Oh, of course. Thank you. Thank you. And you can see they've already eaten what you've given them, but they're nodding happily. Thank you, thank you.
He nods and, still feeling a bit of shame, but feeling a bit better, doing what he can, he heads back to the table and looks to the others. If it would please you, eat a bit carefully. I wish to leave some for those poor souls. They've endured much.
I know Matt stepped away. Sim, are you there?
Grimwolf is eating. I had my fill anyways. I'm gonna slide his dish over by Ser Carthis. Tough streets to end, indeed.
I hope for a better day when this is not a choice that I have to make. When I have the men or the means to help as many as I can. But we have to look to ourselves, I suppose. Difficult as it is.
That is correct. But you gave them what you could. And if they are truly devils, they will still to be here when we get back.
Carthis nods and just kind of sits contemplative if he made the right decision.
Yeah, you prepare your men who all come back and that are all in town for the new job the next day. They all seem excited, pleased to get on the road. to do something. And the next morning dawns, and outside you see Lady Ophelia and the rest of your company preparing. Yeah. Oops. As you're out there in the stables getting your one horse ready and everybody getting their gear strapped up, and Lady Ophelia with her horse, she's rubbing a brush through its hair. Inland approaches Indri. Indri, I hear we have work, an exciting day, to do good in the world.
Yeah, Inland, we have a job helping the lady over here. He gestures to Ophelia.
Oh, she
Going-
looks mighty fancy.
Yes, apparently her dress is worth a lot of money, according to Grimwolf.
What does he know about what is fancy?
I don't know. I can't see it.
Oh, we lost Sim. There he is.
Oh, he's back.
Okay. You with us, Sim? Sim?
Simmy? Uh-oh.
Sim?
There.
Ah,
You got...
I
there he
don't know
is.
what the fuck happened.
No problem. Oh, well. Hey, regardless, I am excited to get on the way.
As am I. I feel guilty a little bit. I mean, it's not my decision, but there is a group, 2 people who are looking for their children back. Unfortunately, Ser Carthis is fortunately, Ser Carthis is a man of his word, but unfortunately, we can't help them as well.
Oh, we could... Hagen, he seems a stout fellow. Perhaps he and one of the hunters could go off and check, I don't know.
Andrew sighs and shakes his head. Oh, Ser Carthis doesn't want to split anybody up. We might be running into some trouble doing this job.
Well, he knows best, I'm sure.
But important thing is we have a job finally. It's helping out someone in need.
Yes. And behind her walks the priest, leaning heavily on a staff. I should pray to the sun god for our speedy delivery and our victory in battle shall it come. Ser Carthis, shall you allow me to anoint you in the sun's rays this day?
Of course, Fallenstein. Please, by all means.
He raises his hand. Sun, bathe us in light, bathe us in glory. We shall fight. We shall fight if it is required. Give us strength. And he trails off and says some other words, and some of the people you notice don't really seem that appreciative of the speech, but there's the nod and mumble. But pretty much everybody's ready to go unless you have something specific to say to them.
Ser Carthis would essentially just kind of bring everybody together for a quick thing. And very good. Well, we have a good job once again. I ask you all to maintain formation as we always do on the road. Remain loose, but vigilant. And watch one another's backs as we always have. We are uncertain what we are going into just yet, but we will find out before we approach needlessly. And of course, if you need my ear, I am always happy to listen. And we will take turns with the horse, as always. Fallenstein, you shall have it first, and then the rotation. Any questions?
One of the hunters. Do you want us to scout ahead, sir?
Yes, Raj and John, I would appreciate it very much so. Grimwolf, if you would not mind going with them.
Aye, I could do that.
Remember, no need to engage, just report if you see anything that appears dangerous or out of the ordinary as we come closer to our destination.
Easy enough.
Come on, Grimwolf. Let's see how loud you are on the road as usual. Like a dwarf.
Yeah, as the old saying goes, I don't have to be quiet, I just have to run faster than you.
Well, good luck on that. They both smile. You head out on the road, leaving this town behind. Lady Rene on her horse, sitting side saddle, riding along. She makes small talk with mostly just Ser Carthis, seeming to appreciate his conversation as they go. You lodge that night at a small residence of a family that Lady Rene has been staying with on and off, and you're not there very long. Most people are asleep in the barn. She offers you a small chest with 500 gold. A down payment, sir, for your services to be rendered, I hope.
Yes, and Carthis nods and happily takes it and disperses some out to the company, knowing that it's been some time probably since they've had some coinage. But and he nods to Lady Rene, and a very good start. But we will, of course, meet our obligation as well before we see any of the rest of it. Believe me, it's not solely for the coin.
Well, I do appreciate it. I had planned on staying here. I can take you to the keep if you wish. Well, perhaps I will stay here with the child and the girl while you go. I do not know if, what your plans are.
Well, though Endry appears to be small, he is quite the fighter and invaluable to the company. We will all go together, but if you wish to stay behind while we approach, I could not fault you.
I would, sir. I am sorry. It's, along this road, this, eastern road, there is a map here I can give you. I've written it out for you in just case, for this moment. And she passes it over a bit. She looks almost embarrassed that she doesn't want to go. I just cannot bear to see the place any longer. The squalor it has fallen into. I'm sorry, sir. Until it is returned to my husband and I will not lay eyes on it, I'm afraid.
Carthis nods and looks at the map, and he looks over to inland. Inland. If you wish, you may stay with Lady Rene, though if not, you may travel with us, of course, as always.
Huh, I wouldn't think of it. I need to stay with you and Dendry. What happens if you get a cut?
Exactly, Ser Carthis. We need Inland. She's a valuable member of the company.
Of course. And he looks at the map and... Very well, Lady Rene. Remain safe here. We shall return when the deed is done.
I do appreciate it, sir. And she bows, curtsies to you. And, 2 days later, you approach a castle. Go ahead and would you try to approach it in the day? What's your plan, I guess, is the question.
Well, I know that we would likely send out the hunters, and last I recall, Grimwolf was fairly sneaky. Seems like a bit of a rude term to describe someone, but
Sneaky.
I don't know a polite way to say it. But he knows that Grimwolf has a particular set of skills that would go well with the hunters. That would probably request that they do a bit of scouting, see if there's a foot patrol, learn more about going in, I guess.
Andrew will volunteer as well. He kind of on the way, he looks to you, Sir. I know what the heraldry looks like, Ser Carthis. I can spot to see who's traveling in and out, see what guards are. I'm fairly quiet. I could go along.
If it was a crowd entry, and he looks to the hunters and Grimwolf and considers it. Go instead of Grimwolf, then. Consider this a test entry.
Andrew nods. You can see there's determination on his face. His eyebrows slightly knitted. Very serious. Yes, Ser Carthis. I will prove myself.
Ser Carthis nods, and as they're getting ready to leave, he would kind of put his hand to Raj's shoulder and keep an eye on the boy. He is eager, and I don't doubt he's telling his truth, at least, but don't let him stray too far.
I'll keep him next to me. At least close enough. He's a good lad. Come on, Indri. Let's get going. Bring your bow. You won't need your sword.
All right. And Andrew brings his bow with him. He does keep his dagger as well, but he'll give a wave to Inlin, a big smile on his face as he heads out with the hunters.
She waves, way overhead, the big swinging wave. Bye! And
Bye, Inlin!
you see Roger roll his eyes. Oh, come on, boy. Don't trip over your own feet looking at the ladies.
What? And Andrew will follow Roger.
And the two hunters and Endry disperse. Let me switch the scene for you guys. This is the pictures at night, but you're getting there during the day. Endry, you and the hunters come out through this small grove of trees and out. There's a rocky outcropping in the distance, and you see a man-made structure, a keep in the distance. Why don't you give me an awareness roll?
All right, that's under int.
I believe so, yes. Yeah, you see there are people walking around, moving about near the front door. There's a path that goes over, kind of up through these small hills to the keep. It's a narrow road, and there are men standing alongside it and at the base of it. Yeah, that's what you see from a distance.
What do they look to be wearing? Are they wearing
armor.
colors?
They are not wearing any colors that you can see.
Andrew kind of squints a bit and look to Roger and do you know if guards and such are supposed to be wearing the colors of the house they represent?
They look at each other and shrug. No idea, kid. Not real familiar with the nobility and those wearing armor. If Some with armor comes at me, I just stick an arrow in him and run, and then stick an arrow in him and run again. Never really looked at what tabard they're flying over their coat.
Well, if it's not the Rene house, then he again kind of scratches the side of his face and looks down at the structure, looks at the winding path going. Not much of an entrance, is there?
Well, looks like it's made on that little plateau there. I did hear Ser Carthis say something about no known secret entrances or exits. Could be why. This place is mighty spooky to me.
Yeah. And Endry looks a bit concerned, looks down to the pathway. Think we could pretend to be traders or something?
Good. What goods we gonna bring? We have our stuff, I guess. I don't know. That's probably a question from Grimwolf. He's sly of tongue.
Yeah. But if it's the only way up, we gotta find out what's happening. I don't think charging the gates is gonna be the smartest plan.
Hey, going there and having a chat seems, well, I don't know. Maybe that's the way. That's for Ser Carthis to decide, kid. I think we've seen what we've seen. Is there anything else? I don't see anything otherwise.
Endry will see if he can, I don't know, if there's any sort of flags or anything flying around the keep, anything just signifying House Rene.
You do see where they would have flown a flag. There's several on the top of the walls, but you notice no flags flying whatsoever.
Endry takes note of this. I have a feeling it's not a cousin that took over. More of it being maybe someone else claiming to be. Otherwise, they'd still represent the house. I think, anyway, from what I've read.
Yeah, the hunters just shrug. No idea. Probably should talk to Carthis, huh?
Yeah, you're right. Not good to go down anymore and explore. Right. Guess we should head back.
Alright, let's go. Why don't you give me a stealth roll?
Right.
Yeah, you head out back the way you came, being very careful as you do so. You're pretty sure that none of the guards saw any of you, and you're pretty proud of yourself for successfully coming out here and scouting around with the hunters, and soon you're back to where the others are resting, and you see Ser Carthis and Grimwolf and the others waiting.
As soon as he sees the other group, he kind of breaks into a bit of a jog as he hurries over to Ser Carthis and Grimwolf and Inland. Ser Carthis! It was good. We saw it. We saw everything that was going on. Well, not everything that was going on, but they're not flying the house colors at all. No one's wearing any of the tabards. As far as we could see, anyway. I don't think it's a cousin or anything of the sort.
Very good, Endry. Were you seen?
No. We're very careful.
And he looks at the hunters and
They nod.
assuming they nod.
Yeah, he was quiet as a mouse.
Good, very good. Pats Andrew on the shoulder. Passed an important test. And I agree. Hearing that, I think on it. It would be strange to be a cousin and not fly some sort of colors if you were of noble house, if you had taken over, the men not wearing tabards. All this reeks of some kind of treachery.
Aye, or it reeks of somebody who doesn't have much gold left over from some. Wouldn't be the first time I've seen guards not wearing any house colors.
Yes, there's no flags either.
Aye, it all is peculiar, but
Well, how should we approach this then?
Well, we can't approach from the side or anything like that. There's only one road up, really. And there seems to be guards stationed at different intervals along the pathway up. I don't think we should go in with swords drawn. Endry looks to Grimwolf. Roger and John suggested you take lead on this. It requires silver tongue sorts. Maybe see if we can get in, fake doing some trade in order to scout out and see what's going on. Otherwise, I think we'd be locked out. Wouldn't be able to get past the walls.
aye, well, we don't necessarily need to fake trade. After all, I am a noble. It wouldn't be unlikely that if I want to open trade routes and stuff. But I don't know what this land would have to offer that I'd want, but we can see how it goes.
Actually, what do we know about this land as far as if there are any trade goods that might be of value?
Sure. This is your kind of standard Northern European flair. So grains and that sort of thing would all be tradable. Foodstuffs, all that kind of stuff.
I say perhaps keep it simple, Grimwolf. Food shortage. This place perhaps does not lack for food, or maybe it needs food. You could come in with the guise of a simple tradesman or house trade, whichever one you would feel more comfortable. I do think we should try to get in without a fight.
Aye, at least to see what's what. I mean, where I come from, there's a lot of food from the ocean. It does become quite hard to come by sometimes. Pearls and oysters and stuff.
Your new quartermaster speaks up. Are we all going in there? Think they'll let a troop of 9 misfits inside?
I think only a small detail. Those of us who are best suited in case something goes awry. The rest, waiting out of sight in case we have to reinforce. Engage. And he thinks on it.
Yeah, you'd have to take enough. Obviously, if I'm a noble wanting to do trade, I'm gonna bring a little guard with.
Well, you and I then, Hargan, and one of the hunters. Perhaps Endry could be a royal son traveling with you, Grimwolf.
Yes. Learning the trade. Learning how to be a noble.
So, the 5 of us, and the rest waiting out of sight in case things go awry.
Hargan nods. I'm with ya. And he steps forward. Are we going right now?
I think the sooner the better. The longer we wait, the more likely something befouls Lady Rene's husband.
Yeah, one of the hunters, John and Hargan, they both come with you. Inland rushes to Endry. Oh, be careful. I don't like the looks of this place. Even these woods seem... well, I've seen the woods of the Vinewood, and these appear to be much darker even in the light of day.
Endry smiles to Honestly, I'm more worried about you being out here than me going in there.
Shh, we'll be fine. I have the light of the sun god on my head. She rolls her eyes.
Just stick around there's the company. You'll be okay. And I'll be okay. I've got Ser Carthis.
That is true. And she smiles. Well, be well, all of you.
You too, Inland.
She gives a sad smile. Alright, heading up to the castle.
Yes, and the signal for if there's trouble and the remainder of the group needs to intervene. Flaming arrow shot out.
Yeah, John.
Shot straight into the sky.
John nods. I'll bring everything needed for that. And he has his arrows and everything ready, obviously. It is the daytime, and you begin to head up towards this small road. Out on there's a flat part as you ascend, and you're just heading straight forward, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I would think so.
There are a few men milling about, and you see one tall figure, heavily armored, not unlike you, Ser Carthis. And he approaches. His armor clanks as he walks towards you. You hear a metallic voice kind of, muffled by his helmet. What's your purpose here?
Grim affairs are going up. Good night. We seek an audience with the lord of this land.
Lord Tygus does not accept visitors.
No visitors, not even for a trade delegation from Skip.
He has not informed me of any trade delegation from anywhere.
No, it's more like we are seeking different routes, Coin is coin. We got goods to move. We seek goods in return, and some coin be exchanged. This came from out east. We're hoping to find more routes this way on the way back.
Well, if my lord will see you, he returns this eve.
Oh, this eve.
Yeah. Remember, it's still daytime, even though the map is showing nighttime. Yes. Dinner time, he will be back.
Well, I don't suppose you could give us quarter until then.
Ha! You can stay here amongst us while you wait, if it is your preference. My men are not talkative, and you will sit over there. He waves to a spot, basically under a small group of trees.
I think that'd be a wonderful idea. We don't want to stray too far.
Very well.
We do appreciate the hospitality.
He just nods and walks kind of up towards the road, and he says something to one of the guards there, and he just keeps going. He walks up to the castle, leaving you behind. There are guards milling about, but they don't come close to you. You guys are free to talk amongst yourself.
Well, I figured by waiting here, at least we might be able to observe them, learn something about.
Indeed. Something is very off about this place. And that man that spoke with us.
Yeah, I'm not having the best feelings about this place either.
Aye, glad I'm not the only one. I wonder where the Lord could have went off to.
Maybe. Oh, I hope he's not involved with that other. Oh no, it's too far. It's too far.
I suppose not far enough if you're the devil. Remove a smile.
You think he is?
Hargan speaks up. There's many devils in this world, boy. Human and monster. A man that would take another man's home and throw his cousin's wife out in the cold. That is a monster. A devil. Just the same as some monstrosity those peasants worked up in their minds. Probably a raid.
Aye, dressed up in skins. Not to look evil.
I'm not so certain.
Neither am I.
Well, maybe if he flies in on a bat, we could tell the difference and make up our minds right.
I am uncertain if this is related to what I speak of. This, no. There are plenty of misfortunes that take place in this land, but there is a strangeness here.
Hargan nods slightly. Well, if we're going to be waiting here, I'm going to take a nap if that's alright with you, sir.
By all means, Hargan. Conserve your strength. I had thought to do much the same, but I'm on edge.
Oh, I don't think I'm destined to die in my sleep, sir. He clanks off and goes to lay down. What are you guys going to do for the rest of the few hours you're waiting?
Grimwolf's gonna observe the troops and move the guards and see what they're doing, see if we can pick up anything on them. Any talk.
Can you no, you can't hear them. They number one don't speak to you, number two don't speak to each other. Can you give me like a human perception roll, I guess? It's probably everybody can do this if they would like.
Oh.
Oh, I guess I need to selected.
Indri is rolling well.
Mm-hmm.
What would that be on there?
It's under
Empathy.
empathy, yeah. All those kind of things are under empathy. Yeah, okay. Eventually, it comes what you think is time. The moon is in the air, and it's dark. You notice one of the guards move past you in the opposite direction, walking away from the castle, and then another. They just all kind of seem to be leaving. And one stands a bit away from you and just says, "You can go up now." And he doesn't say anything else. He just walks past you in the opposite direction. And unless he is literally restrained, he just keeps going. And the rest of the guards that you see, which were probably a half dozen, do the same. They just leave.
I didn't see anybody of great importance walk by.
Neither did I.
Maybe he did fly in.
Did anybody see a bat?
Invisible bats.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
been
no.
completely quiet. There's been no activity whatsoever.
Let's not let our nerves get the best of us. Whenever you're ready, Lord Grimwolf.
And Grimwolf will put his dagger and hide it. I suppose we should make haste. Sun might be up in a few hours. You
march up the road the winding path. It's quite a bit longer than it seems because it's not direct for some strange reason. One sec. As you come closer to the door, you stand before it, and standing there, as you get closer, you see the same image of this man. He just nods. Go inside. He is waiting.
Well, I didn't see him come by. Was he here sleeping or something? I thought you said he was gone.
There is another path in and out of the castle.
Makes sense. He kind of nod his head as he continues in.
Yeah, John is looking rather nervous. His eyes are darting this way and that. He leans into Ser Carthis. We're just going in there.
There's no need to be nervous just yet.
I don't know what you're waiting for then, sir.
Grimwolf would also lean into Ser Carthis. I thought there was no other ways in or out of this place.
So did I. But perhaps there's a way we cannot see.
You push the door open, there's a creaking sound as you walk inside. A sec. You're in a large hall with arched or large pillars that arch into the ceiling. Everything is dusty. Everything appears to be old and ill kept. You hear a tick, 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 as something hits the floor, perhaps. And coming around the corner, you see a figure. A man. He is holding a walking stick, but it looks ornamental. He has long graying hair that sweeps down over his ears and sits on the top of his back. He looks perhaps in his late 50s, early 60s. He's wearing a fine shirt with a high collar. Welcome. Welcome to my keep. I am Lord Tygus, Rene. You wish to do trade. He smiles, and as he does so, the screen fades to black. And that's where we'll end it.
Ominous.
Fucking vampire.
Mm-hmm.